Women is a forerunner in women's television programming. Today's woman demands a lot from herself and from the world around her. You Magazine brings viewers the latest in hair care, makeup, fitness, and fashion, and exclusive interviews with internationally famous designers. To look your best and feel great, turn to You, the video magazine for women on the USA Network. Next.
It's about looks, it's about you, it's about feeling new. It's about clothes, it's about style, it's about what's worthwhile. It's about all those things you wanted to learn but didn't have a clue. The how-tos, tricks, and tips that make it work for you. It's about health, it's about work, it's about you. It's about looks, it's about life, it's about you.
Hello, I'm Edie Locke, the editor of You Magazine. Welcome to this super special Model of the Month edition on a superstar, Iman. I'm almost certain that she had star quality from the moment she was born, but I'm certain she had it from the moment she stood in front of the camera or walked on a fashion runway. She's the kind of woman who absolutely stops you dead in your tracks when you see her on the street, who makes a sack look like something desirable, and whose beauty and bone structure really make the word contouring and makeup absolutely obsolete. That's Iman, the superstar model. But in addition to that, she's a highly committed human being and works very effectively with organizations and through the UN on furthering a great many human causes. Here's Iman.
The makeup how-tos of superstar model Iman. Tips and shortcuts to learn from. Designer Donna Karan, Iman, and the best of Anne Klein's fall collection. The new evening scene. Casual, comfortable, glamorous, and glitzy. Iman in close-up. Her life, her interests, her work beyond modeling. You Magazine will be back in a moment.
Going on location for a fashion taping means working out of a van, close quarters set up like a dressing room. Watching Iman doing her own makeup is a lesson in precision. No time wasted here.
I usually start with the eyes first, so that in case I use powdered eyeshadows and it falls on the skin, I don't have to clean my skin a lot, rub it a lot, because it irritates it. So I usually like to work with water-based colors. It's like a paint. Take a piece of, color, like this, and take a brush, wet it, and just use it like this. Now, at the beginning, it looks like it's a lot on the lid. But since it's water-based, it dries up, so it becomes very natural. Now, the most important thing to me is an eye black pencil. I mean, in fashion shows, I usually could do my makeup less than 5 minutes. But for photography, it takes more. Do you see the difference now when you eyeline the eye with black? Sometimes, of course, when the person's lighter skin, it's better to eyeline it with brown or pencil. So now I apply a little bit of eye powder, shadow, that has a little bit of glitter to it, so that it will just give it a touch of more life to the eye, and a touch on the eyelid. As much as you want, but not without. You have to blend it with the rest so it doesn't become, one line here and another line here and the third line here. You have to blend it to look like it's the same color, but one is darker than the other. And the next thing will be mascara. Now, heavy mascara is good for both photography and for fashion shows, especially if you have, thin eyelashes. And I have a dry skin, so I use an oil-based base. With a sponge, I prefer the sponge to be wet. so it doesn't really harm the skin, doesn't scratch it. I don't like to use under eye cover because I don't think really I do have that much of a problem under the eyes. And instead of having very light under the eyes and then another color the rest of the skin, I guess it's better to have, even if you have a little bit of dark circles, it's better to have one even toned skin. After that, I take a little bit of a blush, and I like to use the same blush, but almost all over the skin, so it doesn't look like it just stops on the cheekbone. And since it's not such a heavy color, the skin can take it without you looking red. And the final thing is just lipstick. What I do is just choose the color I want to put it on. Not heavy, just a little touch of color, and just line the lips. And the purpose of lining the lips is just simple, so that the lipstick does not run. Of course, it needs a steady hand, and that's where makeup artists, I think, they come in. And I think that's enough makeup. I think it can take this kind of a makeup, either photography or fashion shows, without looking like you're overdone. I think it's not too much, and there's no obvious colors that stick out. I think it looks quite good.
The best of Anne Klein's fall collection, Iman and designer Donna Karan, next.
Relaxed, roomy, man-tailored, and marvelous fabric mixes. That's the Anne Klein fall collection. Designer Donna Karan talks about it, and Iman wears the top looks taped at New York's South Street Seaport. I think femininity was terribly important to us for fall. You know, the word androgynous dressing, menswear clothes and stuff like that. I almost don't understand menswear per se. The thing that I love about menswear is the quality of being able to go into your closet and pull it all together. That to me is menswear, the menswear approach, but not women in men's clothes. When Louis and I discussed what we were going to do for fall, it was those great classics that are today's, you know, the modern classics, the classics that probably we haven't been focusing on at the moment, you know, and hadn't had, and there was definitely a need, you know, that white sexy long skirt, that fabulous big shirt, that oversized coat, the great blazer, and what was the jacket going to be like for fall? The mixture of tweeds and patterns and colors, going into a closet and almost wanting to be able to play with your clothes. Without any thought, you know, it was clothes that did not make a major fashion statement. You know, clothes that perhaps were familiar, but are cut with pure comfort in mind. Designers love designing coats, me especially, you know, with tailoring that we love to do, and the roominess and that whole kind of moving quality, coats were important. It added a fabric dimension. It added a proportion. We did them long, we did them short, and they're very broad shoulders, but always roomy to encompass, you know, the kind of suit underneath, that swagger. It was the new suit as well. Each season and each time, it's like making something better. You know, you've done it before, you've been there before, you've looked at why it wasn't what it is, and try to come up with the next reason of why. So that's where we worked on the pan. And we worked on the pan. The way the pan fits this season, and I talk more about for fall, the fit of the clothes, the look of the clothes, because it's that subtle difference that makes it right. The pockets are thrown forward. The pant is narrow in the back, but very easy in the front, and they're really what we call the comfortable baggy. Everything's seen this season to come into place. Every fabric that I've always looked for my entire life, that I've been searching for, was there and available this season. And this cavalry twill was one of them. Well, when we saw the fabrication, we said, riding pan. lean, sexy, wonderful, and the counterpoint to the baggy. I find that counterpoint is what the collection is about. It goes from pure minimalism of absolutely one tone together of taupe beige, the sweater and the skirt, the shirt and pant, all toned in together, a gray cashmere shirt and a pair of gray flannel pants, a pink cashmere sweater and a taupe skirt, without even thought of having to put all these pieces together, the minimal, underdress dressing. The dress, I think feel very strongly about the dress for this season. You know, I think of Anne Klein and I think of a very sexy, sensuous woman. And I felt skirts were really an important issue there. With all the talk about pants, I'd have to say 50% of the collection is skirts, and probably some of the best skirts we've ever designed. For Louis and I, we just could not design enough skirts this season. I think we've done more than we've ever done before. The skirts are long, the skirts are sexy, the skirts walk. There are some models, again, counterpoint to the tailored, kind of quality of the jacket. The simplicity of a cashmere shirt in blush cashmere with a cavalry twill sarong skirt. I mean, that's it.
There's a whole new way to look at night. Watch the new Informal Formality next.
New York South Street Seaport, a must-visit, full of great restaurants, shops, goodies. And in a moment, you will see Iman moving through it in the simplest new evening looks that pack a lot of pow. Like Ralph Lauren's deep green silk velvet shirt, the foulard scarf tucked in. It's wrapped and it's belted in reptile, and it's worn over gray tweed trousers, straight and cuffed with reptile oxfords. The ultimate at home or out to dinner elegance by Ralph Lauren. A man's velvet robe, the kind you saw in 1930s romantic movies. It's over a black tie, white linen shirt, and again, gray flannel trousers, and on the feet, reptile shoes. And there's a silk cord sashing it, and that crested pocket is shined with beading, a very classy look. Lots of glitzy bathrobe evening dressing this winter and lots of velvet, like Calvin Klein's simple black velvet dress, mid-calf length, full-skirted, worn with flat-heeled dancing slippers. What a joy for stand-up parties. There's no overdressing here. It's a new way to go out at night, feel beautiful, and yet be totally comfortable. We're aboard the Peking, docked at the South Street Seaport, and that's another must-visit, and another out of his closet evening look. The smoking jacket in silk jacquard, tassel sashed, over black velvet trousers by Regina Kravitz. In their tailored simplicity, these looks are sexy, romantic, and for this one, you will want to opt for high-heeled pumps. One of the classiest, sexiest evening looks, Anne Klein's navy wool crepe trouser suit. High heels, lean trousers, an easy cardigan jacket piped in gold, and under it a pailleted sparkler, a navy chiffon crew neck covered in gold, and knockout gold metallic belt to pull it all together. What's so great about these tailored and simple evening looks is that they can go on a whole range of formal occasions. And you'll never feel over or underdressed in that whole range of evening sweater dressing. A long navy cashmere pull glitzed with gold paillettes by Gloria Sachs. A sweater and skirt evening duo you'll want to wear for years. And with this, you do need elegant high-heeled pumps and sheer navy legs. The skirt's mid-calf, positively liquid in that metallic herringbone. And more glitz, wide gold chain bracelets, and there are stone earrings, beautiful evening makeup like Iman's, extravagant hair. What a way to look for fall and for the winter holidays. And there's more sweater dressing, this one coming up by Bill Blass, and totally new. Baby pink cashmere pulled way down low over a full flounce of a pink taffeta skirt. The sweater's shoulder padded, back buttoned, and plunging to a deep V. There are comfortable pockets in front, and this turnout combines the new evening ease and simplicity with the all-out glamour of a ball gown. Sweater dressing a la Bill Hare. Start with an Icelandic sweater and load it with jewels and beads. And you have an evening sweater look like no other. You could wear it with a long skirt, but we love it worn over cream gabardine trousers. And here you'll need the lift of a high-heeled satin pump. I think there's something so special about being in comfortable trousers that pull over piled to the hilt with baubles and beads. An evening glamour that got off to a start last winter when the evening sweater began to shine. In a season when you'll see lots of winter white for day and night, this is Anne Klein's smashing evening turnout. A long, lean coat over a tuxedo trouser suit and a silk jacquard cowl blouse. Wore the cleaning bills, but it's worth it. And worth it, too, a tour of the Peking, that romantic sailing ship loaded with history.
How is she discovered? How does she handle success? Iman's real story, real interests. Next.
She's a superstar, a well-organized businesswoman, a concerned human being, devotes meaningful time to her 6-year-old daughter to causes concerning her native Africa. Iman, a fascinating woman.
The government used to have like 300 free scholarships, but you had to be an A student. So I was among 10 girls among 2,000 boys to be given scholarship. And we were sent off to Russia. I was in the military academy. And somewhere, I just missed the plane and never went back home. So when I chose not to go back home, I just went from Moscow to Europe, from Europe to Tanzania, to my parents. And there I went to Kenya, to the university, and got my first time involvement with the UN because I was working part-time while I was going to the university. I was working part-time for tourist companies. I was walking in the street one day in Nairobi, and Peter Beard, who saw me walking in the street, approached me, and he said that there was this gentleman who has a hobby. And his hobby is he collects what he considers the portraits of the most beautiful women. He gets the photographer he wants. He gets hold of the women he thinks that they are. He wants them part of his collection. He never meets the women. So it's just a purely business thing and purely hobby. So he pays them whatever money they want and all of that. And that he was born, he's Greek, and he's born in Kenya, lived in Kenya. And part of his collection, he was always looking for an African girl. And became that he thought that I am it. So he hired Peter Beard to do the photography. And I said, why not? And that's how it all started. Peter took those pictures. The man, I got paid for it. The man got his portraits. Peter came to New York, had an opening promoting a book of his, the Kamante book. So the next thing I know is to come to New York. Everybody's telling me to come to New York. I've given them a hint I might be interested. And the next thing I know, the Times, the Post, Daily News, is writing articles, having my pictures. And I'm still in Africa. I haven't said yes. So there are all these stimulations of how I looked. And when I finally arrived in New York, I remember very clearly that day. I arrived, Peter Beard with limousine, with press, picking up from the airport. I was driven to New York, to the city, to Manhattan, and staying at Peter's apartment on Fifth Avenue. There was a garbage strike in the city. Now, I came from Africa where they call us primitive, the third world. I have never seen anything look that bad. When we got to the apartment, I said, this is it. Because I really thought we just maybe stopped by for something. This couldn't be Manhattan, you know. There's garbage all over the place. It was the dirtiest place I've ever seen. I'm still in touch, not maybe politically, of what happens to Africa, particularly because I'm from there. The famine and drought started in a small scale while I was in Africa, before I came to the United States. I remember before I left Somalia, didn't have a drop of rain for 3 years. So there was this dramatic change
it's very sad to see, and the visual effect of it is enormous. It's something that no one really has. You don't know it till you see it. I'm raising money now for the video project. And it's not that much money that I need to raise. I just need the crew to go down there and to film. That's all I need. And it is a new perspective of showing hunger. And it's seeing it in a different light. Seeing actually how people live in these refugee camps. And to see it in the eyes of somebody who has everything to look for in this world because they're young. I want to see it from the eye of a child. This is Zulekha's post-traditional tea ceremony. Now, it's a whole ceremony. It's more than just tea. It's like going to the beauty salon with all your girlfriends and daughters. The most important thing about the tea is the herbs. We have here like 4 or 5 kind of herbs. We never put any water in our tea. It's the basis. Instead of the water, we have milk. So it's the milk, and then we put the incense, and we put a little bit of the tea, and let it brew, sit and brew for hours. The tea is usually very, very strong. You think you people have caffeine problems? There is caffeine. It's very strong. Well, the incense, what's burning here now, that looks very conspicuous and very mysterious, is it's really charcoal. We have a special made. This is homemade. This is all comes from home, from Africa. This is where we keep the hot charcoal so that when you touch it, you don't burn yourself. So it's made of clay. The incense that we're burning there, that you see the fumes of it, it looks like this. It's brown, and you use those fumes for incenses for the homes and for hair. And it smells quite good.
You Magazine will be back in a moment.
You Magazine is presented exclusively by the USA Network. Tune in for new fashion and beauty tips each week here on You. I think very often, while we may be acutely aware of huge world problems, we feel so small and so powerless and such a lonely voice that we really don't do very much about it. We think of ourselves as that proverbial drop in the bucket. Not so, because your voice can be heard, and what's more, you can inspire other voices to be heard. So if you really feel very strongly about something, don't just sit there. Do something. You can be effective. And you can write to us and let us know what you think of the show, of Iman, of lots of other things. Write to us at You Magazine, P.O. Box 5001, FDR Station, New York, New York, 10150. And thanks so much for joining us today.
Next week's You Magazine, your fall fashion checklist of the best looks from the top American designers. From new man-tailored coats to trouser suits and sweater dressing. It's everything you want to see and know. And directly from Paris, master creator Yves Saint Laurent's fall collection and one of his rare TV interviews as he talks with Edie Locke. A half hour you can't afford to miss. Next week's edition of You Magazine.
You Magazine can be seen every Saturday at 9 a.m. and noon Eastern, and Sundays at 4:30 and 10 p.m. Eastern. Now stay tuned for USA's Ovation next. USA, it's a great place to stay.